Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV, and we are here with the last video before I go on vacation. I don't know why, but my house has been like super echoey recently. It's been kind of annoying. So if you guys kind of hear that like weird like reverb sound coming through the microphone, I sincerely apologize. We just released our Bill Walton video too, so if you guys want to check that out, pay some homage. I'm kind of paying respect to a legend there. You can go check that out. But we are here with the first episode of season 2. We're gonna have to put a pause on the show until after vacation. I'm just gonna go enjoy myself. The only thing I really have to do on vacation is some homework, but other than that, I'm going to be enjoying myself, obviously. A break from school, a break from making YouTube videos is always nice every once in a while. So, we're just going to have a big old discussion. You guys know exactly how these videos have been formatted recently if you've been around long enough, so let's go. So Joe is back and he's feeling quite nostalgic here to start the season. I mean, the simpler times when he believed in love, kind of looking back on it. To be so young and naive, I guess. I'm kind of in that same spot. Obviously, I don't deal with love, and I don't have to go through these turmoil relationships. But to be pacing back and forth before the uncurtained windows of an unsuspecting future corpse, feeling brave and vulnerable and like he was going about things the old-fashioned way as he cleared every obstacle in his path, including Benji and Peach, rest their souls. To have these sweet memories soured by the more recent recollections of his beloved discovering the stash of teeth he pulled from the gums of one of his homicide victims so as to keep their body unidentifiable. Yet again, rip, I don't fucking support this character really as much as you would normally support a protagonist in a TV series. But to have no choice in the end but to bash this in the skull of the woman he thought was his soulmate, based mostly on psychotic fantasies about her and based hardly at all on actual lived experience with this other person. Yeah. A lot of people have died at the hands of Joe. So, yeah, man. And when yet another person Joe thought was dead turned out to be very much alive, I mean, hello, Candace, welcome to the series. We can actually learn a little bit about you. Joe realized something. No, not that he needs therapy. In his defense, technically, he kind of tried that already. I mean, at least he tried. He realized that he can never love again. He can never really truly love again because he found the girl that he really thought was the one. Like, this was the one. If he wasn't able to get her, who knows what he's able to achieve in the world of love, Because this seemed like the perfect girl for him in his fantasies. I mean, it's pretty dramatic, obviously, for him to say that. Season 2 brings new boundaries to break. It's like, it's crazy. It's a whole new Joe we get, and that can be kind of refreshing. We're gonna have to see what they do with this character for this season, but at the same time, it could also be pretty costly because, man, I do kind of miss the storylines with him and Beck. I thought they were very interesting, very riveting, very very engaging. But we'll have to see what he does with Love, literally the name of this girl. So, to this end, Joe goes to what he has determined is the least romantic city in America, Los Angeles. I mean, I guess you can argue that. Does it shock you that Joe, adorer of only musty hardcover books, is disgusted by LA, by influencers and shameless self-promotion, and that relentless, vicious sunshine? And he's a very introverted person, and LA is a very extroverted area. So, yeah, he's not going to like it there, but he wants to be unpredictable. He doesn't want people to know that he is in LA. Sorry about my hair fucking sticking up in the back. It's kind of making me mad. But, yeah. But he knows this is the place he must be in order to become what he claims is his truest self. A quiet guy who just wants to lead a quiet life. Kind of shut away love for once. Kind of shut away those temptations, wanting to be with a girl and all this type of stuff. It's also the place he must be because, as we will learn through some later in the episode flashbacks, he is hiding from Candace, who has decided she would rather torture Joe by driving him insane through whatever means are available to her, because he ruins her life. Obviously she cheated on him, but the extent that he took things, it's like, holy shit, Joe, what the fuck are you doing, dude? So, I mean, yeah, instead of just going to the police with all the evidence she has that he committed multiple homicides, she's gonna keep torturing him because that's for the better of herself, I guess. I mean, that's what she likes to do. She's having fun with it. I'm glad that even though Shay Mitchell has left the universe, her DNA remains, which is to say no one goes to the police when they should, and murderers remain on the loose for reasons. Candace believes that if Joe goes to prison, he'll just sit in a cell thinking about what a good person he is and how wrong everyone else is. He is an egomaniac. He really needs to feel the pain of being wronged. He really needs to feel the pain of someone going against him. And you kind of agree with Candace, but at the same time, morally and like realistically, this isn't really the right thing to do as a person. But, well, not morally, but just, it's not the right thing to do, really. But, yeah, I mean, who cares? Is that so terrible? Bill Cosby is out here still insisting he's innocent, but believe he's still in prison because he's not innocent. I'm pretty sure Bill Cosby's still in prison. I don't know. Justice for Benji, Peach, and Beck, obviously. You know, we're gonna make that a thing. We're gonna emphasize that because holy shit, Joe is an asshole. I don't support anything he does. So Joe has chosen the extremely inconspicuous fake identity of, well, Bettelheim. He finds a new home on the second floor with a clear view of all the yoga doers across the way, with the assistance of a landlord who reports that the last tenant left in a hurry. Quite suspicious, obviously, from the start. Obviously, the show is trying to build up some tension already with what is going on here. Joe sets up shop, managing his addiction to stalking and murdering women by allotting himself only 10 minutes a day to fixate on a variety of girls instead of funneling all his energy towards one. Sure, I guess. So at this moment, we really realize that Joe has a fucking problem. Like, he actually has an addiction. Like, at first it's like, oh, it's just this one girl, but no. He likes fucking looking at people and observing the world. So, Joe gets himself a job at a bougie grocery store, cafe, bookstore, which I found fucking weird, called Anavrin, which is Nirvana backwards. Is it supposed to be a parody of our one? LA people, you gotta help me out here. If anyone is from LA and you're watching this video, please. I'm so confused. What the fuck is going on? Of course, Joe casually drops a copy of Crime and Punishment during his interview, and in our end of episode reveal, we will find out that Joe, naturally, has done his recon and he knew that this particular show was in need of a kind of man who could move several boxes of Russian literature. So, that this dude Calvin thought his shoppers would want to read Dostoevsky because of Russian interference in the 2016 election is not a great sign about his ability to determine what customers are going to crave. I mean, they're not really good at running a fucking business. And this is LA. There's all sorts of competitors around. It's a big area. You can't really afford to do stuff like this. So Joe gets all dreamy and stupid watching a pretty girl browse through groceries up here. She baits him into a conversation about which foods look like which salacious body parts. Peaches are butts, obviously, and bell peppers can be vaginal depending on how you cut them. Obviously, a very weird first conversation between these two characters. Her impeccable judgment of character tells her that Joe isn't skeevy. Turns out they're co-workers because she works in the kitchen, and if you thought the show that gave you Guinevere Beck and Peach Salinger was going to slow down for season 2, well, brace yourself for the introduction of a chick who is literally named Love. I cannot fucking believe this show decided to do this. What a crazy concept. It's quite delightful, but at the same time, it's like, what in the fuck? You guys really did that. It's kind of cringe, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Joe is so smitten and handles these feelings in a super healthy way by fantasizing about love while jerking off in the storeroom in a place where it would be so easy for anyone to walk in on him, and I don't know how that hasn't happened yet. I don't know why the show has decided not to have that happen to him yet, because I think it would create a moment here. So, as he works to lock in his fake identity, Joe goes to the Hollywood DMV for a real but inaccurate license, of course. He runs into Love, clearly he planned this, and she gets a little save the cat moment by righteously standing up for an Arabic-speaking woman in a hijab who is getting the rude, racist treatment from a DMV employee. You know, I mean, I guess Love kisses Joe on the cheek. Oh boy, we already know how this is going to end, right then and there. At least her Instagram is private. But this ensnares another girl in Joe's sights, one who can teach him to build a convincing and cool social media presence with which he can friend and follow Loves. So, yeah, he uses a 15-year-old girl to create a repertoire for himself on social media, which is obviously very fucking strange. We're gonna let it slide, though. So, it's time to talk about this season's stairwell urchin, who's really more of a balcony sprite. A precocious, lightly supervised 15-year-old who announces she is basically 16, so, yeah. Her name is Ellie, her big sister is the landlord, and I am extremely worried about her welfare. Yeah, we have another fucking stairwell urchin. This show is keeping up with the consistency. You gotta love it, and you gotta respect the dedication. It's so weird, a weird parallel there that they did. I guess that was intentional, but after a few choice run-ins with Joe, she flirts, he senses her deep need for a male protector, he accidentally chucks her phone off the roof. they bond. Sorry about that sound. So it's very loud upstairs. So they become friends, obviously not romantically because it's fucking weird. This is a young Jenna Ortega we're talking about here. But she makes the excellent case for not being a snob about all visual art, including movies. Why are you robbing your eyeballs of all things that are good? I say the same thing about movies compared to books, and agrees to swap Rex for Rex as long as he keeps the books short. Nothing too long. I have a life. She guides him in his creation of an Instagram as hers is all her art and photography. She doesn't even really show herself. She really wants people to appreciate what she does for art. So she correctly susses out why Joe needs one of his own. Either he's trying to get someone to fall in love with him or he wants revenge. And that's a pretty good summation there of why people create social medias. Attention or vengeance, pretty much. She ends their conversation by, don't take this the wrong way, Will, but please don't be this boring on your Instagram. Funny. Some observations about Joe's sudden social media efforts. His Facebook is going to look sketchy as hell if it's only been around for 3 days. There's no way in hell Joe actually read The Power. It was published really recently at the time and was written by a woman and imagines an alternate reality where women have the physical upper hand against men on account of they can electrocute people with their bare hands. So that's what I heard from some people around. I've never read it. I don't fucking read books like that, but there you go. It's a little background. While seeking out photogenic sunsets or whatever for his Insta, Joe falls asleep and gets a brutal sunburn. He awakens to discover love has accepted his friend request and that she got married 3 years ago, which is obviously not ideal. That's obviously already not going very well. So, for some reason, Love already knows where Joe lives. I mean, what? Do you tell your coworkers this information after knowing them for a day? Is that what Joe did? And arrives to help him with his sunburn. Why would she do this? What is going on? Was there some off-screen action? I'm not sure what happened here. Obviously the inviolable rules of television health and medicine. Joe's injuries require tender, sensual care. The light dabbing of apple cider vinegar on his cheekbones, slow blowing on his face. Because Joe has 99% ramen on the counter, Love decides that it's time to take Joe on a manic pixie dream tour of LA, as inspired by, the genuinely excellent food critic Jonathan Gold. After all these cutesy romantic attempts to find Joe's OTP, one true plate, she brings him back to Anavrin to make him a roast chicken, the truest test of a chef's skills. So, yeah, it feels very royal, I guess. Just as things are getting intimate, she reveals that she was married and her husband died 2 years ago. So there we go. That settles that. That's exactly what happened to her, She says he got sick and now she feels Victorian for being a young widow. Maybe she murdered him? Is this that kind of show? I mean, it could be that they match the two up. It could be like a Dexter type of dynamic with Dexter and Hannah. Honestly, I would love that, but I feel like it's more likely she's just dealing with a tragedy that Joe's presence in her life will only make worse, honestly. And when did she have time to buy him a book? Did she just grab it in the store or cafe? Anyway, Joe's going to read Joan Didion now. Good for him. So, at the end of the night, the balcony sprite is in the stairwell, just in case you were confused about whose shoes she's filling. She says a guy named Jasper came by, an old friend of Will's. So Joe goes to his storage unit where it would appear he has constructed a glass cage like the one from the basement of the bookstore. With what fucking funds? I mean, seriously, how? This show isn't even making any sense in that regard. How the hell did he do that? But, and inside it sits the real Will, whose identity Joe is in the midst of stealing. Oh, and also, Joe doesn't just live in the neighborhood, she's right across the street. Wow, what a bunch of plot conveniences. What a bunch of fucking coincidences this show creates, huh? Joe has been spying on her for ages, so much for saying goodbye to all that. I mean, yeah, we're not going to be able to fucking avoid this. I mean, these two have built a chemistry, these two have built a dynamic on the show. We can't fucking dodge this. But yeah, that's going to do it. That is going to do it for our big old discussion. It's going to be super interesting moving forward to see kind of how their dynamic develops, how their relationship develops. Obviously, again, I'm going on vacation, so I'm probably going to need a refresher when I get back. It's going to be a long time between me watching TV shows, but I'm out. I got to start packing my bags for vacation. I literally haven't, and I leave tomorrow morning, like damn near. I'd probably leave about 15 hours from now, and I still haven't packed my bags. So, yeah, guys, leave a like and subscribe. comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I know these videos are a bit sloppy, but I just want to use it as a discussion point. I don't want to like have some crazy fucking edits on here. I just want to talk about it. And if you guys are bored of that, just click off these videos, because I have other videos on the channel too.